Hello, my name is Stephanie Rambler. I'm a Senior Sustainable Development Officer at the United Nations Department of Economic and Social Affairs, and I'm thrilled to be here today in this SDG Media Zone event. We are in the middle of the high-level political forum for sustainable development here in New York at the UN headquarters. This is an opportunity that comes once a year to take stock of progress on the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals, to reflect on the gaps and ongoing challenges, and to strategize together with member states, civil society, UN system organizations, private sector, and other stakeholders to think about how we can move forward with the agenda. In particular, this year, we're looking at SDG 6 on water and sanitation for all. And in that regard, I'm thrilled to be joined by three eminent experts in the field. I'd like to introduce them now. We have Her Excellency Mrs. Retno Marsudi, who is the Secretary General's Special Envoy on Water. We have Dr. Mohamed Diatta, who is the Sherpa for the 2026 UN Water Conference for the Government of the Republic of Senegal. And we have Ms. Agnes Fritz, who is the CEO of Viva Con Agua in Germany, which is an organization that we'll be hearing more about later. So thank you all so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is a wonderful time to be gathering here because not only is it the HLPF, but it is also the World Cup for football, or as I, an American, would like to say soccer. But it's a very exciting moment, and I can say that the energy in this building is incredible. It's a microcosm, I think, of the enthusiasm and the energy that we're seeing around the world for the World Cup. And so this is a chance today to think about how we can use that energy, that enthusiasm, that sort of goodwill, solidarity across the world to advance important goals in water in particular. This is what we like to call the Year of Water because we have a UN Water Conference coming up at the end of the year, co-hosted by Senegal and the United Arab Emirates. And there's much to be done. We'll hear a little bit more about a report that has just been launched, but the bottom line on SDG 6 is that we have made progress. After 10 years of implementation, we have billions more people with access to water and sanitation. Water use efficiency has improved. Many, many more countries are using integrated water resources management approaches. But still, 2.1 billion people lack safely managed drinking water. 3.4 billion people lack safely managed sanitation services. And there is still so much to be done. So I would really like to hear from our experts here. And Your Excellency, I'd like to start with you. As I mentioned, this report on SDG 6 has just been launched. So if you could talk a little bit about the findings from that report and also the importance of your role in raising the political visibility of water in this important moment. So over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Stephanie. I think yesterday we all see the launch of the synthesis report by the UN Water. Number one, the positive news is that we made progress, as you mentioned. But on the other hand, the pace of the progress is not as fast as what we need. So there's only way to move forward, that is to accelerate the progress. And the question is, of course, how to accelerate the progress. Number one, of course, we need cooperation. We need to work together. And you mentioned talking about working together. Now, in the past few days, everywhere you go, people talk about football, about World Cup. They are talking about spectacular goals. They are talking about brilliant passes. And the most exciting, which country will win the cup? And even yesterday during the launch, before making the intervention, each delegation mentioned about football. It's very interesting. So you also mentioned, Stephanie, what is lack? More than 2 billion people still lack of access to safe drinking water and others. And I mentioned about the acceleration, working together. The other thing that we have to do is to see what is work, what is lack. What is lack, among others, is on investment, on financing. So since day one, since yesterday, as a special envoy, I'm trying also to reach, to engage the private sector. We talk with the World Bank, Today I will have a special event engaging the private sector and others. So again, trying to identify what is lack and how to accelerate progress. Back to football and water. So I would like to pose a question actually. Can you imagine a World Club where the players doesn't have access to water and sanitation? For sure, there won't be tournament. There's no tournament. There's no training. There is no healthy athletes. No fans filling to the stadium, and the beautiful game simply could not exist. So, in fact, access to water and sanitation makes almost everything in our life possible. Make everything in our life possible. So water is not just a resource, it is also a foundation of every opportunity. My next question actually, does everyone in the world have access to safely drinking water and sanitation? And of course, as you mentioned, the data, no. The answer is not. Billions of people still lack of those basic services. So for them, the challenge is not scoring the goals, but finding water, protecting their health, preserving their dignity. So what could we learn from football? Number one, football unite us all, unite the people. Second, we learn the value of teamwork. There won't be any good game if only one keep the ball. You have to pass the ball, to work together. And I think this spirit should also apply when we talk about water. Pass the water, share the responsibility. And by doing that, then the SDG 6 goal, inshallah, will be fulfilled to give water and sanitation for all. I stop on that, Stephanie. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Excellency. Excellent points, and bringing together the just helping us to envision what a world without water would be. And we talk a lot about the hydration breaks in the games now, in the matches now, but it's a very important issue, and I think it helps people to visualize, think about a stadium with no water, think about a team with no water. And we heard yesterday in the SDG 6 session, people are still spending time gathering water. There's a great diversity in the reality of water for people across the world, and we need to keep all of those elements in mind as we work towards SDG 6. Turning to you, Dr. Diatta, I know that Senegal is a very powerful football nation, and you are also very busy in preparing for the 2026 UN Water Conference that you'll be co-hosting with United Arab Emirates. So if you could just share some insights on the importance of engaging a range of stakeholders and some of your objectives for the conference.
Thank you. As you know, Senegal is a Africa World Cup champion.
Yes.
And of course, with the World Cup, Senegal didn't fail, football win. We continue to support the team, and knowing that football unite, as Her Excellency mentioned, and is the spirit of cooperation, of coordination, of working together, joining forces must be transferred into water community. This is why, on the lead up to the 26th UN Water Conference that Senegal will co-host with the United Arab Emirates, we are working closely to mobilize stakeholders, to mobilize young people, because the future of water is in the hand of the young people. More than 60% in Africa of population are young. We are mobilizing these young people on the lead up to the conference. The second is women. Women are in touch with water, and it's very important to mobilize women's communities, associations, because when we talk about water security, we cannot talk about water security without implicating women on the processes. in the center of decision. This is very important. The private capital, because countries alone cannot achieve the SDG 6. We have a huge gap on investing water. In Africa, it's 30 billion of investment gap that we need to cover if we want to accelerate progress. This means that we need private capital. We need also foundations that brings small activities on the field, concrete activities on the field, reinforcing access to water. We need also science, data, but also capacity building. In many African countries today, it's not, we didn't face the financial problem. The most important problem that we face is capacity, the lack of capacity. You can give money to a country when the country didn't have capacity to conduce a project at the right time. It's a difficulty. I think that this is very important. Of course, international organizations have to be mobilized, and we work closely during the Dakar high-level preparatory meeting to mobilize the water community, to mobilize young people. But also, today, what will be the game changer on what we are doing is implicating the outside water box players. And this is very important. We are talking about water. We are talking about the food sovereignty, the food security, the climate. When we talk around water people, it's about blue water. What about the green water players? To mobilize all these activities around the SDG 6. Water impacts all the SDGs, and it's why we have to be open. To be open, to connect the doors, to connect the agendas, and this is very important. And this is why African Union declare the 26th as the year of water, and adopted a new Africa Water Vision on the lead up to the 26th UN Water Conference. Today, Senegal is working hard because we are sharing the African Ministry Council on Water. We are mobilizing African countries toward the 26th UN Water Conference and building a common position of Africa for the next UN Water Conference. This is what we are doing, and we are pushing for that, and so that in UAE in December we can celebrate new water victories and new implementation strategy for water and place the SDG 6 in a good trend.
Thank you so much, Dr. Diatta. Thank you for highlighting the leadership on many levels. Senegal is a leader within the continent on water. You talk about women being leaders within their communities, youth being leaders, but still we need more. We need more engagement, we need more investment, but we need to broaden the universe of water actors and leaders.
Yes. I forgot one point.
Yes.
The most important that we did in Dakar is about the civil society.
Yes, that's right.
And we think that today the work that NGOs are doing in the fields, the indigenous people knowledge have to be mobilized, and this is very important. Local communities, their role on the water governance, and the advocacy that we need at that level, and the role of the special envoy on the direction of the 26th UN Water Conference. Her leadership, to mobilizing political leaderships toward the conference, is vital on this direction.
Absolutely. And you just gave me a perfect segue. Thank you so much to Ms. Fritz. And we want to hear more about your organization, the Pass the Water campaign. I think it's designed to do exactly what we're saying, broaden the universe of water leaders and water activists and advocates. So talk a little bit about the campaign,
Yes.
and we'd love to hear more.
Thank you, yes. Yeah, my organization, Viva Con Agua, has worked for almost 20 decades now, 2 decades now, 20 years. We have our celebration this year. And we worked for the sake of clean drinking water all the time, and we worked with the universal languages of sports, music and art. So we have in a lot of different countries like Uganda, South Africa, Nepal, India, all around the world, workshops like Football for Wash, where kids learn in a very playful way how to interact with water, with hygiene, with hand washing, like with all the things attached to the topic of water sanitation and hygiene. And also something like Dance for Wash, where they move, and you know, it's a little bit more with music and very playful. And I think, it teached us that the universal languages connects people without words. It connects youth, it connects the people which usually would maybe not have the understanding of why it's so important to wash your hands, or why it's so important to have clean water. But yeah, it's a great messenger, and it's a great connector. And that's why we also said it's very important to team up. It's very important as a German WASH network to be together with the civil society organizations, with governments, with the private sector, to be a little bit louder, to have the Pass the Water campaign, which we formed now on the way from Dakar to Abu Dhabi this year. We started to make playful pictures, to use the football really to activate the people, because I think truly when people are moved, when people feel connected, when people feel the community and the vibe, and also something positive, and not that it's only like very hard, but also the positive way of we can do it, and we can team up, and we can play together, and everyone, like you said, it's a teamwork thing. Everyone has its own role, so we have our own responsibilities within the team, within the community, and we can reach the goal. And on our way to Abu Dhabi, to the UN Water Conference, I would like to see many people involved in the Pass the Water campaign. So we can also reach the people out there which usually are not in contact with that topic, to be really loud about it.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I can just imagine at these World Cup games or World Cup matches, it's such fertile ground. The crowd is so ready to embrace their team, embrace the cheers that they're doing. And if we could somehow weave water into that, I mean, I mentioned the hydration break kind of in jest, but water is all around, like you say. It's a very fundamental part of sports and physical activity and health, and so there's so much potential. So it's really interesting to hear about what you're already doing, and maybe just a little bit more about how you see the Pass the Water. What would be some ideas how we could feature it in the conference in particular?
So I think what I like about campaigns is everyone can be part of it. It's very easy. It's, we take a picture or we say something and we are loud, we pass the water. But also sometimes it's really fun to maybe also start a game during a conference, or to be very playful in the way of how we connect with each other. Because sometimes I feel in these conferences it's all about connection. It's all about how we really team up, as different actors, as civil society, as governments. And when we connect, when we feel each other, we can be stronger, and we can be more powerful and more energetic. So maybe there is something with the universal languages of sports or music or art also for the conference.
Absolutely, and I think the time is right now. We're sort of developing the vision for the conference, and Dr. Diatta, if you have any additional thoughts on how to weave sports in particular or other stakeholder activities at the conference. You've mentioned several, but just any final thoughts on that?
We think that regarding the value of sport globally, and particularly football, soccer here in the United States, we must work together. The idea of sport team is a team building, as Her Excellency mentioned. But also beyond that, if we translate it on water, we need to share benefits. Sharing benefits, cooperating, inclusivity is a key, but also implementation. This is why the vision of the conference, it will be a conference of implementation. We, for many decades, have been talking and proposing a lot of solutions. Now it's time to implement them. And this is why we push our co-chairs to identify flagships initiatives that can impact the global trends of SDG 6, and also looking how we can strengthen multilateralism at this time, how water can be a connector, a vector, and building resilience, but also peace, security among states, but also working, linking water, biodiversity, and nature is key. This is why on the lead-up of the 26th Water Conference, water for people, water for prosperity, water for planet, water for cooperation, water for multilateral processes, and investing in water can be one of the 6 pillars that can bring us to accelerate progress toward SDG 6 and linking SDG 6 and the entire 2030 agenda.
Can I just pick up from
Please do.
Dr. Diata
Please do.
some points? Number one is about inclusivity, inclusive approach. This is very important. Inclusive here means that not only the government, of course the government take the lead, but the civil society, private sector, each of us has the responsibility. So let us make a good, a strong teamwork, again, to make the dream of access of everyone to water and sanitation will be fulfilled. Number one. Number two is about implementation. We know, I mean, in the UN, United Nations, of course, we talk about the solution. We made commitment. Word matters. But most importantly, we have to take action to follow up all the commitments. So that's why we are very happy that the 2026 UN Water Conference is an action-oriented conference. So let us together work together to really take concrete action, because that is what the people is waiting for. Sometimes the people doesn't understand what we are talking about in this building. What we are looking forward is the really concrete deliverables of what we are discussing in this building. So let us make the conference to bring the concrete deliverables to the people. So there is 2 points plus 1, of course, the gap of investment. Yesterday we had a very good meeting with the World Bank and with others. And the data shows that 86% of financing for water is coming from the public money. And the public money is always very limited. And only 2% coming from the private sector. So once again, inclusive approach, engaging all is very important. Teamwork matters.
Thank you so much. That is a beautiful way to end. Thank you all so much for your leadership in this issue. Thank you all for your engagement in the conference. And let's move forward with the beautiful game and with SDG 6.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.